What's going on, guys? Welcome to my channel. In today's video I'll be showing you how you can create your very own 1v1 arena on any island style in creative mode. I'll also be showing you how to use certain items for your game, such as the item spawner, character spawn plate, buttons, and triggers. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe and don't forget to drop a like. With that being said, guys, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so to get started, first of all you're going to want to go into creative mode. Once you go into creative, instead of going to play in the matchmaking with others, you're going to go to launch. Alright guys, now once you're inside the creative hub, what you're going to want to do is find where your island is. Don't enter it, first you want to go over and use the console. Now you're going to see on your top right it says create new. You're going to press whatever button it is for you to go to create new. From here you're going to have your starter islands. You might not want to do it right away, but honestly I recommend it because you don't want to get into the main starter island, create something amazing, and then realize you don't like that island setup. So go ahead, choose the island that you like. From there you can go right ahead and go into your island. Now the very first thing I recommend is getting a play spawn. Now what that's going to allow you to do is, instead of falling from the sky all the time, you're going to be able to spawn wherever. Now it's not going to matter where the placement is right off. The reason why I'm saying this is because while you're in the middle of figuring out things inside your island and you want to keep jumping from edit mode to the game to see if your stuff is working the way you like it, it's very annoying falling from the sky each time. So place one of these and you'll be able to get back faster. Now the way to do this is you go into your menu, you go to my island, you go over to creative, and then you're going to go over to devices. Now from here you're going to be able to find the player spawn plate. You're going to be able to hold 5 at a time because it goes into your trap location. And then each one that you want to have, you're just going to have to go back into here and grab them if you want more. You shouldn't need a crazy amount, but just start off with the one so while you're editing your island, you don't have to keep falling from the sky. Now, of course, from here, you're going to want to create your little 1v1 area. Now, it could be anything you want. A lot of people I've noticed make really simple ones. This to me is simple, but it's got a little bit of spaz to it. You know, I put some little grandstands here. I got my little scoreboard here. See, I got the red and blue, and then red, blue. You can identify. Got my weapons over there. But anyway, guys, yeah, the second step from, you know, dropping your spawn plate so you can get back and forth is creating your 1v1 setup. Now the main thing here is obviously your ramps, okay, because this is the main place where you're going to be doing your fighting. Now the second thing that's very important, see, the first was spawn plate, second obviously create your place, so third, a lot of people want to know how you can do your button, and what this button does is it allows you to actually reset your builds. So this is why, if you're wondering, why do you have these creatures sitting here? Well, that's why. So these creatures are actually set here so that when they spawn in, which by the way in game you do not see these, they are not visible, I'll get to that later, but they actually destroy the builds. Pretty neat. Okay, so let's get right into it. So you're going to want your button. Very important, you're going to need a trigger for this button to work. Then you're going to want your creatures. So where do you find this? You go to your menu, you go to my island, go to creative, go to devices. Now you can go down, you're going to see that there's the trigger, you have your button. Now if you want the creature, it's going to be above, it's right here, creature placer. Now once you have all of these and you place them, place your trigger relatively close to the objects. Now, first things first, we have to customize our button. So you're going to go ahead into customize. Always go to all options. It's easier, you see every option. Now, This can be triggered infinite, yes. Trigger sound, I'm gonna enable it. Why not? It's the button. Enabled at game start. Now here, I set it to reset builds. You can put it to whatever you want. Visible during game, of course. Now you're gonna go all the way down to the bottom where it says when interacted with transmit on channel 1. Okay, now customize your trigger. Again, go to all options, go down, triggered by player. You want this off because you don't want in-game somebody running by this and then it triggers it off. That would be terrible. So I put these all to off. Even though I got no vehicles or anything, I put them off. Activate on game phase at game start. Now you're gonna go down here, the delay, put it to 1 second. Sound effects and visual effects, I turned those off. Visible in-game, absolutely not. You don't want to see this trigger on the ground. What else? Okay, so now you go down to where it says trigger when received from channel 1, which means your button is on channel 1, so it's going to trigger this when received on channel 1. Now when triggered, transmit on channel 2. Now channel 2 is actually these guys right here. So when you customize these guys, first of all, you're going to put it on red brute. It's going to make them bigger. Activation range, you're going to put it to 15 tiles. So when they, spawn, it's going to make sure that it destroys. Spawn effect visibility, off. Activate on game phase, never, because what this is when as soon as you start off the game, they're going to want to spawn. You don't want this. You want it to spawn when you click that button. Now, spawn when receiving from channel 1. Your button. When you click your button, you're going to want it to, spawn and destroy your builds. Despawn when receiving from your trigger, which is channel 2. So, that's pretty much it. Now, the way that I actually set these up, as you can see, there's these guys up here are standing straight, those guys are upside down. Reason is because when you put your floor, okay, these guys right here are actually going to break the floor. These guys standing up here are going to be able to break your ramp. So when you place these guys, it's very important that you place it just underneath, okay? Because if it's right at the exact same height or too low, it's not going to work. What'll end up happening if it's placed exactly right is you're not going to be able to place a ramp or a floor, okay? So it's very, very important that you do this. Now, first things first, when placing these guys, you're going to want to just place them as is. Then once they're placed at a good height, you come up here, place your floor, then you're able to place these guys upside down. Now, once these guys are all set up, you're going to want to destroy your builds before entering the game to test out your button. The reason is because if you leave these builds here, jump into start game, you're going to come into the game and you're not going to be able to destroy them because it's going to say that the permission to destroy is not available. So just make sure that you destroy the builds before you go and try your button. Now to try your button, you go into your menu, go to start game. Now once you're loaded up into your game, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go over to your ramps, and as you can see, so beautiful, there's no creatures displayed, there's no trigger. Your button's there, of course, because we didn't want to hide that. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your floor, a ramp, and a wall. Very important to do this because you want to make sure that the creatures that you set up didn't, make it so that you're not able to place your floor or ramp. Now, another reason why you want to set all this up is because, of course, when you test out your button, you're going to want to make sure that it actually destroys your builds. So let's go ahead and see if it worked correctly. That's going to be what it looks like, and as you can see, it worked beautifully. Now, after setting up all of your ramp and buttons, you're obviously going to want to have some weapons for your 1v1 fight. Now, if you're not sure on how to set these up, it's pretty simple. It's the same thing. You're going to need a trigger, guys, which is, like I said, located in My Island, Creative, and Devices. Now, once you have your trigger, you're going to want to place it, like I placed it in the floor, it kind of just happened that way, but you want it close to your, weapon spawn pads. Now once you have it near the weapon spawn pads, you're going to want to go ahead and set these up to work with your trigger. So you go to your trigger, you go down, activate on game phase, game start. You're going to have a delay of 1 second. I turned the visibility off in game and the sound effects. I go down to enable when receiving from channel 4, disable when receiving from channel 3, trigger when receiving from channel 4, when triggered on transmit on channel 3. Now, the item spawn plate, what you're going to want to do is go down to time before spawn. You're going to go to instant. Time between spawns, 5 seconds. I mean, you could do anything you want, but this is my preference. Now, enable when received from channel 3. Disable when received from channel 4. And now you're probably wondering, okay, well, how can I place a weapon inside that? Okay, so for the video, I'm going to show you. I'm going to go ahead and get an item spawner plate. Now you're able to hold 5. Now once you have your plate and you set it up, you're just going to go ahead, go to the menu, go to My Island, Creative, Weapons, select any weapon that you want. Then to get to your backpack, it's not like in Battle Royale or anything, you gotta go to play, and now as you can see on your bottom right, it will say drop. You drop, and just like that, it's gonna set inside your plate. Now one thing that's really cool is you can actually change the lighting and the fog in your island. Now to do this, you go over to the menu, My Island, you go to settings. I put the time of day to 1 AM. You have your light color, I put to white so the light on top shines beautifully. Sometimes if you change the color, it can look way too dark. Now you get the fog thickness, I put it to 40% because in the background I have black. Now just to give you an example, I'm going to put the light to red and you'll see why I do not have color for this setup. It looks really cool, but since I'm doing a 1v1 and I wanted this to look really clean, I think that that's just over the top. It could look cool in different kinds of setting, but for this one it's clean and I just want to keep it at a nice setting. As you can see, I myself have created a box because I saw everybody else doing it. Not only that, but from the beginning of the video, I explained how you don't want to build something cool on an island that you don't want. When I started doing this, I had no idea that you could choose different island layouts. I didn't know how to do this. So this is why mine is boxed in. It still works. Now, if you're wondering why do I have so much going on when it's just a 1v1? Well, that's exactly why, because normally everybody just sets up normal 2 plates here, that's it. They get a reset button maybe, possibly, and then that's it. I figured, it's creative mode, I'm going to create something. So, I built a little restaurant, little arcade spot, a little gaming, tournament thing. Got the toilet set up, I got the grandstands, I got the music going on here. Instagram, Dan_Bear. It's just a neat little thing. I also got here, today's winners of the 1v1 showdown. You can stand there with your friends. It's just kind of neat, instead of just having the 1v1. Then if you have your friends in here as well, they're not just standing there, doing nothing while you and your friend are up in there in builds fighting. You also get this little counter here that one of your friends can be bouncing on, in the middle of the game to occupy themselves. It's just neat. Creative mode is absolutely fun, and I hope you have a blast.